Hello, spooky friends. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Jules, and I'm back with another spooky reading vlog. So I am starting a new book today. I've already started it. I am going to be reading The Hitchcock Hotel. This is for Jess's Sleep When I'm Dead book club. And let me tell you what it's about first, and then I'll tell you what else is happening. Alfred Smedel is not your average Hitchcock fan. He is the founder, owner, and manager of the Hitchcock Hotel, a sprawling Victorian house in the White Mountains dedicated to the master of suspense. There, Alfred offers his guests round-the-clock film screenings, movie props, and memorabilia in every room, plus an aviary of 50 crows. Hello, the birds. To celebrate the hotel's first anniversary, he invites his former best friends from his college film club for a reunion. He hasn't spoken to any of them in 16 years, not after what happened. But who better than them to appreciate Alfred's creation and to help him finish it? After all, no Hitchcock set is complete without a body. So I did already start this today. I only have it on audio. I don't have the physical copy. So we've been introduced to Alfred and the hotel and kind of given like a tour of in our minds of what this hotel looks like. And obviously it's like the Bates Motel, the house, Bates house. And he has all this Hitchcock memorabilia everywhere, and his friends have now come in. So the friends are thinking that he's brought them there to like basically show off his accomplishments and what he has established in his life. But I'm pretty sure he brought them there for other reasons. Yeah. But so they're still really awkward around Alfred. And you can tell there's tension. So something happened. Obviously, the synopsis says something happened when they were in college. I don't know what happened yet, but yeah. So I'm enjoying it so far, getting kind of like the backstory on the friends and like their group dynamic and everything. So I don't have a lot of thoughts yet, but that's what's happening. And tonight we're going to be watching Psycho in like 20 minutes. So I wanted to update you guys really quick before I started that. I just ate dinner, and now I'm going to feed my dogs and get them let out and get ready for movie night. I told my husband we were watching Psycho, and I go, the old black and white, and he's like, why? So he's obviously not a fan of that. So I will probably be watching it by myself. Hello friends, I am back with some updates. We just made some Halloween crack. 2 pans of it. So Gwen, first of all, I missed the time. I messed up the time, so I was an hour behind. So I thought it was 7 o'clock my time. It was 7 o'clock Gwen's time, which is an hour later than me. So I got on when they were starting reading sprints, and I missed making the crack with them. So while they started reading sprints, I went back and watched and made my crack. And in the middle of it, Gwen messed hers up. So I messed mine up. And then for some reason, my chocolate chips got gritty and they would not spread. And it looked like doo-doo. A literal doo-doo. Haley's over here shaking her head. Yes, it was awful. I'll just pop a little picture of it in here so you can see that it looked like doo-doo. Anyway, I'm gonna pop in the clips of me making our crack, and it looks good. The second pan looks good. Whether it sets up or not, I don't know. Because last year when we tried to make this at Christmas time, it did not set up. Like the top of it set up, but then the bottom, when you go to break it, was still really gooey, and it just wasn't good. Anyway, and we didn't put a lot of sprinkles on top of it because we don't like a lot of sprinkles on our baked goods. Like we can do without sprinkles. So we did have some Halloween sprinkles on there, not a lot. book updates, I listened to, I'm probably about 75% into The Hitchcock Hotel. I have no idea, honestly, because audiobooks.com and Audible don't tell you how far you are in the book. Like, I don't know page count, I don't know percentage, I don't know anything. So I'm just guessing based on the length of the book, kind of doing a little bit of math, figuring out where I'm at. I think I'm about 75% through it. So all the friends showed up at the hotel, and everybody was kind of, you know, like I said, it was kind of awkward between everybody. You could tell that like Alfred was probably bringing them there for a reason, for like some type of like maybe revenge or something. So they're all going through their days, you know, they're having food. Someone's getting sick and think they're getting poisoned. A couple of the friends are hooking up secretly, but not really secretly because somebody found out. And then their phones get taken, so nobody has access to a phone. And then there's a body. And that's kind of where I'm at now. They're trying to figure out, oh, and all their tires got slashed. So they have no phones, nobody can leave, and there's a dead body. And the cops have shown up, and now they're trying to figure out like what happened. That's where I'm at. I'm enjoying it. It's pretty good. I'm going to pause that right now though. And since we're doing reading sprints, I'm going to start We Used to Live Here. Obviously probably not going to get very much read because, you know, I'm behind and I have like, well, I still have a couple hours before bedtime, so I may get a little bit read. I am going to be on Gwen's Patreon on her live discussion for this. So I wanted to have a physical copy so that I can like take my time, mark it up and whatever. So I'm going to just read what it's about. As a young queer couple who flips houses, Charlie and Eve can't believe the killer deal they've just got on an old house in a picturesque neighborhood. As they're working on renovations, one day there's a knock on the door. A man stands there with his family, claiming to have lived here years before and asking if it would be all right if he showed his kids around. People pleaser to a fault, Eve lets them in. As soon as the strangers enter the home, uncanny and inexplicable things start happening, including the family's youngest child going missing and a ghostly presence materializing in the basement. Even weirder, the family can't seem to take the hint that their visit should be over. And when Charlie suddenly vanishes, Eve slowly loses her grip on reality. Something is terribly wrong with the house and with the visiting family, or is Eve just imagining things? So I will be back when I have some thoughts on this for you. Hello, I'm back with some updates. I have our crack that we made. So good news is it mostly set up. So it is right here. It is, looks like that on the front. It has little, and then some of them have eyeballs on them. The bad part is that they didn't set up 100% like hard. Like it's not, so like the back of this, like I can squish it. It's a little sticky still. So you kind of gotta just look. So, you know, was it 100% win? Not really. I don't know that I'll make it again because it's really not that, it's not that great. Like there's other things I could make that, you know, like I know why they call it Christmas crack is because like people get addicted to eating it, but like I'm just not. Like I wouldn't be addicted to eating this. Now there is some dip that I make that's like crack dip, but it's like a chip dip. Totally addicted to that. So anywho's, that aside, it was still fun. Had a great time. I sent, this is all we have left of it. I sent the rest of it off with my husband for his coworkers. Okay. So I finished the Hitchcock Hotel and I am going to settle on 4 stars for that. I really had a good time with it. Like it was like a slower, which I usually don't like slow burn type books, which I don't feel like it was a slow burn. So it wasn't like a slow start and then it picked up. It's just kind of like overall was just like a cozy, mysterious time kind of, you know what I mean? Like they're all in the hotel. There's a lot of tension. You don't know like who's a bad person, who's not a bad person. They kind of all seem like bad people. Like they all have elements of their lives that they're kind of sketch. Like they all have like not great characteristics. So we're following along and getting backstory of them in college. We do find out what happened to Alfred, But then we also find out something that Alfred did and that somebody else did, and like, not good people. And so after the body is found, it's obviously determined. They figure out, you know, who did it, who done it. And yeah, there was a big twist at the end, which as soon as I heard the perspective of this person, I was like, oh, it all just like light bulb. It just all clicked into place. And I was like, okay, I see you. Anyway, I enjoyed it. It was a good time. So when I was done with that, I went back to this. This is such a good time. You see those tabs? Those tabs are Morse code. So in the book, there are sections that say, okay, so first of all, let's take a look at this map. How cool is that? So they're like documents. They're like transcribed documents. Okay, and then at the bottom of those documents, I am losing my place. At the bottom of the documents, hang on, let me cover this so you can't see it. There is these Morse code at the bottom. And over here on these tabs, I don't want you to see, I'm writing on the tabs. You can't see it on these tabs, what the word is. And then, so there's all through the book, there's all these tabs. And basically those words are forming a sentence. I don't know if it's going to be one sentence, multiple sentences, but I'm having such a fun time decoding it. First of all, this family that just drops by. So we have two women who are partners that live at this house, and only one of them is home, one is gone. Family shows up. The guy's like, hey, I used to live here. I grew up here, you know, and I wanted to bring my family in so they could see where I grew up. Do you mind if we come in and take a look around? Absolutely not. No, go about your business. And she's by herself. And so Eve is her name. So one's named Charlie, one's named Eve. Eve is the one that's home. And Eve seems like she's a little very highly anxious, very paranoid. She seems like she's very paranoid. So when she was growing up, she had like this stuffed toy that was like a monkey, you know, the kind that like has the little doo, doo, doo. Anyway, she talks about she had like the Wish version of this toy. And so like in her mind, this monkey talks to her. I don't know, that's just how she processes things. But like, so the monkey could be in her brain saying, oh, don't let him in. Something bad's going to happen. You know what I mean? It's like fueling these paranoia, anxious thoughts that she has. She seems very off. So anyway, she lets him in. And then she calls. She's trying to get a hold of her partner. And yeah, weird stuff happens with the girl. The daughter of the guy ends up running off and hiding in their basement. And he's like, oh yeah, sometimes she runs off. We'll just have to wait her out. Like, you need to get out of my house. So the partner ends up coming home and she's like, oh, what's going on? And then she kind of explains, and then they're like, oh, okay. They look around for a little bit, invites them to eat dinner with them because the girl's still in the basement. So they're like, well, maybe if we just all sit down and eat, she'll come out. Anyway, so they're there for a little while. Leave. There's a snowstorm. First of all, their car was like not there. Like, why is your car? Why did you not drive your car up? Like, where is your car? And it's like down the road. Why is it down the road? Like, so just all sus, like all sus. And they leave and there's like this big storm and they can't get out. So they let them come back and stay the night in their house. I will call a plow to come and plow you out. We'll take you to a hotel. Anyway, yeah, it's creepy. It's just very creepy. But I'm having a good time with it. So I am only 127 pages in. But yeah, this is a very enjoyable book for me. It has creepy vibes. It has, you know, the decoding. Like, the whole Morse code thing just elevates it. Just makes it more fun. I love a good book that has like interactive things in it. Just having a good time over here. Anyway, I don't have any plans tonight. I was gonna watch The Birds by Hitchcock, but I found out there's sprints. Keisha's doing some sprints, so I'm like, and I'm like wanted to read my book, so I may wait till tomorrow to watch that. I have a little pumpkin pie thing, and I may like make a little whipped cream ghost on top of it. I might make that. I'm just feeling, you know, it's a fall treat, but then I can make it spooky. You know, because I'm reading a spooky ghosty book. Anyway, I'm gonna quit talking. I'll be back when I have some more thoughts on this book that I'm reading. Hey, I'm back. I have some updates. This book was so good. This book was so good. Creepy, creepy, creepy. Creepy as heck. Honestly, I don't even remember where I updated you guys. So I think I was talking about there's Morse code in it, and that all these tabs are the words, and then you put all the words together and it forms a sentence at the end or whatever. This blue tab, there's one blue tab, and that is because there was some heebie-jeebie creepy stuff happening at that point, and it still gives me the heebie-jeebies thinking about it. But this book was unhinged at the end. Unhinged. Like, I was like, did not want to put it down. So good. Like, I was like, what universe am I on? What parallel universe am I on? What happened? What dimension am I in? Is this the Twilight Zone? Like, I didn't know what was real and not real. It was crazy. So yeah, I can't really tell you much. Just know that this was a good time. And if you were going to read this, there is Morse code in here that you decode. It's just fun because it was like interactive. So it kind of like just kept it, like, I literally was like, okay, I want to get this done so I can get to the next part. So that I can decode my Morse code. Anyway, it was a good time. So I have one more book that I need to pick up for book club stuff. Well, I still have to read The Brothers Hawthorne, but I have till next week to do that. But as far as like spooky thriller ebooks, I'm going to pick up The Woman in the Dark by Vanessa Savage. I will just tell you what it's about. I'm going to be reading over here. However, this is for Jess's Patreon. This is our book club. She said it is not good. She's like, it won't hurt my feelings if you don't read it. And I'm like, oh, but so we'll see. She only gave it 2 stars. So let's see. This is a debut psychological thriller about a woman who moves with her family to a gothic seaside house where her husband grew up and where 15 years ago another family was brutally slaughtered. Well, that sounds intriguing. Sarah and Patrick are happy, but after her mother's death, Sarah spirals into depression and overdoses on sleeping pills. While Sarah claims it was an accident, her teenage children aren't so sure. Patrick decides they all need a fresh start, and he knows just the place, since the idyllic family home where he was raised has recently come up for sale. There's only one catch. For the past 15 years, it has become infamous as the murder house, standing empty after a family was stabbed to death within its walls. Patrick believes they can bring the house back to its former glory, so Sarah, uprooted from everything she knows, pours her energy into painting, gardening, and giving the rotting old structure the warmth of home. But with locals hinting that the house is haunted, the news that the murderer has been paroled, strange writings on the walls, and creepy gifts arriving on the doorstep at odd hours, Sarah can't shake the feeling that something just isn't right. Not with the house, not with the town, or even with her own loving husband, whose stories about his perfect childhood suddenly aren't adding up. Can Sarah uncover the secrets of the murder house before another family is destroyed? It sounds so good. Like, give me all of that. That is what sounds so good. Man, okay, well, I'm going to read it because I'm intrigued by this synopsis. Also this weekend and for this vlog, I would like to read Scare Waves. I did not get to this last week for the spooky middle grade readathon. So, but I do want to, okay, that was creepy. That was creepy. Okay, these pictures are creepy. Okay, first of all, look at this one. Look, what is that? What is that? It's a doll. It's a little mannequin. Okay, this book looks, it looks creepy. Okay, so this week is just creepy books. Happy Saturday, friends. Another car update. I feel like my vlogs lately have all been me in the car talking, but honestly, I got places to be, right? So I am going back up to my sister-in-law's shop to help her today. I did stop and get a pumpkin caramelicious from Scooters. So I haven't had an iced coffee from, like, you know, an actual coffee shop for a while. So treating myself today. Treat yourself. This is me telling you, go out and treat yourself if you haven't for a while. So updates. Last night I watched half of The Birds. So I was watching The Birds while I was making dinner, and surprisingly enough, I forgot like the story plot of this movie. I watched it so long ago, like when I was a kid, that the only parts, I guess, that are burned into my brain are when the birds attack. So like anything outside of that, I don't really remember that. I'm enjoying watching it. It's kind of like that whole nostalgia vibe of it, and just seeing the old time movies reminds me of, you know, when my mom used to watch those. Today I brought my laptop with me and my books so that, you know, between people coming, if I have time, I can, you know, try and do some things. I don't know what other plans I have outside of helping her today, so I don't know what we're doing tonight. Probably nothing. We don't usually do anything on Saturday nights. We just stay home and chill and watch movies and read or whatever. So that's probably what we'll be doing. So I will come back when I have some more updates for you. Hi, I'm in the car again. I feel like my vlogs are just, it should be car vlog series. I wanted to update on the books I'm reading. I did not get to Scare Waves yesterday, so I did not get that started. I didn't actually do any eyeball reading yesterday. I started listening to The Woman in the Dark yesterday. This is for Jesse's Patreon. It's kind of boring. I'm currently at 60%. I started it yesterday and I got like 25% read yesterday, and then I've been listening to it this morning while I was doing some cleaning and stuff. And yeah, so we're basically following a family that has moved into this house that was the house that the husband grew up in. So I guess his parents ended up losing the house, so he's like a little bit bitter that the house, he keeps saying the house should have been mine, it always should have been mine. And somewhere in between them losing the house, obviously, and them getting this house, family murder happened. And so it's called the murder house. Everybody calls it the murder house. And so we have, you know, a husband and wife and a son and daughter that are teenagers that are now living in this house. So the wife actually had lost her mother like a year before this, and kind of like spiraled and like went through depression, and so they thought she was having this like relapse again. Now she's finding out all this stuff about this house that she's in. She didn't want to move into this house, but she's like trying to, like, you know, appease her husband or whatever. So she's not working and he works, and then she doesn't really do much during the day. Like, she is supposed to do things, and then like next thing you know, like hours have passed and she doesn't know where to. So she's like losing time. Like she doesn't realize she is forgetting to do things that she's supposed to do. Like, she forgot to go get groceries, and so there was no dinner, and they were having people over, and like, and so all these little things that she's doing is like triggering the husband, and his mood has changed like significantly. So he is getting mad at her and not being very nice. So this is definitely hitting hard on mental abuse. And so like, if that's a trigger for you, definitely don't read this, because he is definitely, and domestic mentally. He hasn't physically done anything to her yet. Not like, I say that, but so he is not physically abusive yet, but definitely is mentally abusive, and he is lashing out, and his mood has changed significantly. And she's wondering if it's the house that's doing it. It's giving Amityville vibes. Like the house is changing his personality. But he's also hiding secrets. So we come to find out that there was a closer connection to the person who killed his family than he is letting on. So just finding out all these secrets that her husband's hiding, and now his personality is changing, and his obsession with getting this house back. Like, it's just very odd. So it's not bad, but it's not great. There are times when I'm just kind of bored. So there is a part that mentions infidelity, which I cannot stand, and kind of oh, well, they did it, so maybe I should do it. And I'm just like, okay, one doesn't cancel out the other. So those are my thoughts on it. I'm hoping to finish it today, and then Jess has sprints tonight, and I am going to eyeball read Scare Waves. And it's less than 200 pages, and it has pictures in it, so cross your fingers that I can get it done. And then that will wrap up this vlog. I'm back with updates. I did start this. I read like 2 chapters, and then I fell asleep during the football game. So the game got over just a little bit ago. Go Chiefs. We are 6-0, undefeated. So I usually find myself napping during football game. I was snuggling on the couch with the dog, and it just, the background noise of the football game, and just snoozed. I went to Snooze Town, and it was a really good nap. So I started eyeball reading this until I noticed that, I definitely wanted to eyeball read it anyway, because it has creepy pictures. So at the end of chapter 1, it had this Beacon Point history. It's like it says partial transcript of Beacon Radio mystery show hosted by Alan Graves. So it was like a broadcast, so almost like a podcast. So I was like, and then right here it says atmospheric music. I was like, ooh, there must be an audio for this. So I went and looked on Hoopla, and there was. So I started listening to it, and it is good. You definitely get the eerie music in there, and then on the broadcasting, it sounds like a podcast. So I love that. So I got to page 58. I'm not sure I ever read the back of this, so let me do that real quick. So it says, the small town of Beacon Point has always been plagued by eerie local legends. It's a town where disappearances are common, strange creatures have been sighted with unnerving frequency, and ghastly noises echo from the woods. The adults in town are oblivious to these strange occurrences. Others prefer not to talk or even think about them. But over the course of several terrifying nights, a group of kids will come face to face with the horrors hiding within their sleepy town. Guided by the mysterious radio host Alan Graves, they must work together to follow the clues to a frightful secret before it eats them alive. Yeah. So it kind of almost seems a lot like Give Me Something Good to Eat, whereas kids are going missing and that nobody remembers, or not that they don't remember them, because they do remember them. So like kids do go missing and the town does remember that, but it's almost like the adults are like oblivious to what's happening. So it's like, are they in on it? Like, are they like allowing kids to get taken, like as a, an offering? I don't know. So anyway, it's pretty good. So far a girl went missing, a new girl comes to town, and then there's been a couple of boys that have had creepy occurrences, and one of them goes missing, and then yeah, so it's pretty creepy. Anyway, I'm having a good time with it so far. So Jess is about to do some sprints, and hopefully I can read. This book is a really fast read. Obviously it's middle grade. I have the audio for it. So I'm gonna listen to this during the first sprints with Jess while I make some protein donuts, because I am meal prepping for my husband, and then I will sit down and finish hopefully the rest of this. I got to 60% in Woman in the Dark, and it's okay. I'm kind of bored, but her husband's like a total jerk. So he is frustrating me. But so she is starting to question him more, and he is obviously getting more annoyed with her and upset with her that she's asking so many questions. But sir, you're keeping secrets. So anyway. So I don't know if I'll get back to that tonight or not, but I will definitely, I want to get this finished, and then I will get that finished before I close out this vlog. Hey friends. I finished this book, and I also finished The Woman in the Dark. So my thoughts on this one, I'm giving this 4 stars. The storyline, probably maybe more of a 3.5. I feel like it was kind of rushed at the end. Like all of the kids individually had some type of a ghost or monster type thing that was like kind of stalking them and scaring them. And then they all kind of got together for like this sleepover thing, and they're like, I've been seeing this, or I've been seeing this. So like all of their monsters are like different, probably maybe based on like what scares them. Like one kid was his like scary scarecrow guy, that he's like on his dad's farm. So like that might be something that like scares him in general. And then like one girl's was like a creepy image of her. So like if she had an image issue or whatever, like, so it's almost like their fears projected onto these monsters, if you will. And what? Anyway, some of these pictures, y'all, were just what? Creepy. This book is super creepy. I feel like this might be a little much for some kids, but I loved this. So the only reason I got 4 stars is mostly because of the storyline. I felt the description of things was very creepy. The imagery, obviously very creepy. I loved that part of it. But yeah, I feel like the story just kind of maybe wrapped up a little too quick at the end. And I don't know. I feel like this could have been longer and I would have had a fantastic time with it. Either way, loved it, recommend it. If you like creepy, spooky books, this one's for you. Okay, then we have The Woman in the Dark. I'm sitting on this. I just don't even know what I want to rate this book. Like, the more I read this book, the more pissed off I got. I just did not like anybody in the family. I hated the whole family. So obviously the most person that I disliked the most was the father. And as I had mentioned, like it felt like it was like an Amityville kind of thing, because like once they were in the house, it seemed like his demeanor and his personality and his temperament, everything changed. But I think that was just a projection on the wife, because she was like finding out things that he didn't want her to know. He was keeping all these secrets. So things did tie into, I don't know how to say this with that. This may be a spoiler. So if you're planning on reading this book, maybe jump ahead, because I don't know if this is a spoiler or not. But he did have a tie to the people that were involved in the murder house, which she did not know that. She thought they were just like random people. So yeah, that's all I will say on that. So the abuse does intensify as the book goes on. So we started with just maybe some verbal anger issue type abuse, and then it's more mental, and then it just gets worse and deeper, and then it gets physical and very physical. And I just didn't like it. I just didn't like it. It doesn't trigger me. Like, those aren't like domestic violence. Those things they don't really trigger me. I just don't like to read about them when they're like real continual, or like if it's a little bit in a book, it's not a big deal. But when there's like a huge chunk of the book and that's just like all you have, and it's very degrading and intense, I just, it's an ick. It's an ick for me. Anyway, with that being said, like, I feel like it wasn't, again, I can't really say much about this without giving like a whole lot away. Overall, I just didn't love the book. I'll just say that. It was just kind of average, kind of boring, and then just kind of made me mad. So I'm probably going to settle, I think, at maybe like a 2.5. I don't think it was good enough for 3, but I don't know that it's low enough for a 2. So I'm just kind of somewhere in the middle. So that is it for this vlog, you guys. Let me know if you have read any of these books. If so, how did you like them? Let me know in the comments below. And until my next video, friends, be yourself, be awesome, be kind. Bye.